rotate the bristles and have them spread out. Do a couple swipes to the side, one long swipe that way. Get this, right? And come back in, give it a few more little details. Bam, 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 bam. That's why I like to add a couple. Hi, welcome back to Paint with Josh. You look fantastic. What have you done with your hair, girl? Woo! My goodness. Enough about you, though. Let's get to this painting. We did a 16 by 20 inch gorgeous seascape with a crashing wave. I know you're excited about painting it. That's why you clicked on the link. So check the description down below. Make sure you get all the colors you need. Make sure you get your canvas nice and wet. Get ready to throw some paint on. We're going to do it just like this. Hey, guys. Back in the studio. It's Paint with Josh back with you. You look fantastic. Thank you for joining me. So I'll go through the colors we have just real quick. Bright red, cad yellow, phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, midnight black, and titanium white's all we're going to need for this one. And you can see the canvas looks a little strange, right? That's because I took our Bob Ross liquid clear, looks a lot like that. Took our 2-inch brush, dipped it in there, and then just kind of put it in different places, right? You don't want to just drop it all in one section and have to spread it out. So we put it all over the place, and then we can go through and start to spread that, and it'll make it much easier for us. So I understand if you have done this before and you know how to put on liquid clear, then you can skip forward, but only after liking the video, right? Make sure you give me that thumbs up before you slide forward, and you can go to wherever you need to go to. But for the people who've never put it on before or need to know how much to put on, this section is for you. So literally, look at how much my brush is bent. It's really trying to slide that paint, right? Really taking it and just getting it everywhere as thinly as we can get it, which is why I like to put it in different places. And that way you don't have that whole big glob that we talked about having to work out, right? This is when you get out your frustration from the day. Like, oh, how dare you make me go do that extra report, or go and do this because you don't want to go do it, or do this extra work because of this reason or that reason, right? Just take it out on the canvas, just all over. Make sure you're crisscross stroking back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, right? All over the place. Even once you think you've done it, keep doing it. Okay, we're gonna keep going. And make sure it's completely spread evenly across the entire canvas, and then we're gonna wipe it all off. So there is a thing as too much, right? Now that it's nice and even and you can feel in here, it's about the same sound and the same feel throughout the entire canvas. You know it's nice and covered evenly. Now we can wash this brush. Get rid of all that nastiness because we don't want all that liquid clear on there. Let me tell you. Now we've taken our brush, we've dabbed it off on a paper towel, we are good to go. Speaking of paper towels, why don't we grab one or two, and we're gonna fold them over into a little square, and we're gonna wipe off all the clear off of that canvas. Because we don't need all of this paint. Remember I told you we're gonna spread it as thin as we could, and then we take it and we wipe it off. Vigorously too, like I'm really smushing on it, getting a lot of even the original black canvas color to come off, right? Really pushing it, getting in there, wiping it all. Boom. Get a lot of that excess to come off. Now you can take your clean dry brush again. Make sure it's dry. You don't want to have any paint thinner in your brush when you go to do this part. They do not mix together. It'll cause it to run and drip in different places. It's bad. So just go over all those little bits. The last little section, it'll be nice and ready to go. We'll throw some undercolors on and we'll get painting. We will get painting. All right, so we'll go through the colors that we have one more time. Bright red, cad yellow, phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, midnight black, and titanium white on our 16 by 20 inch black canvas, okay? We took our black canvas and we covered it in Bob Ross liquid clear. Looks just like that. It's a blending medium. It stays wet while we paint and lets all these thick oil paints blend together, right? So why don't we get a little bit of color into our sky? We're gonna have a little bit of crimson right onto the 2-inch brush. And just depending on where you wanna see it, right? Maybe I wanna see mine kind of in the middle-ish. And they call these transparent colors because it stays nice and dark on the canvas, right? It doesn't pop out at us as crazily as we would think. Let's get a little bit of the bright red, which is gonna stand out a little bit more. I'm gonna have a little bit in the sky, maybe a little bit of that bright red into the water. And just like that, we're gonna blend those guys out. We're gonna blend them out, gonna push them outwards, pushing it out, stretching the paint, right? The more thick paint you have right here, first, the more vibrant your color is going to be. And secondly, the harder it's gonna be to start layering, right? We're gonna layer all of this stuff. Layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. So you don't want it to be too thick right off the bat. Now we're gonna go into that blue. Didn't wash the brush, didn't do anything. It's got all that nasty color right on it. Now we're gonna make this very dark blue, purpley color wherever it mixes in, right? And I'm gonna cover the entire rest of the canvas. Anywhere that's black, we're gonna cover with that blue, and it stays nice and dark and makes the people think that it's a black canvas, right? And then you go to hit it with your white paint and all this magic happens. And they go, how did you do that? How did you make the color turn with the white and the red and the blue, and where did it all come from, right? It's the biggest comment I get on TikTok. How did you make the undercolors? I go, well, go over to YouTube and you'll see how we put the undercolors on, right? Put those undercolors on, that's half the battle. Half the battle. All right, now look at how dirty that brush got. It's all purpley, we gotta wash all that off. Gonna go into the thinner, shake it off, and then into the old beater bucket. Beat the devil out of it. Look at that. It's nice and clean. It's fantastic. But always dab it off on a paper towel. Just get in the habit of doing that. All right, let's grab an old fan brush, right? We can make a whole bunch of, we can make a cloud, you can make a wave, you can make all sorts of stuff with a fan brush. So get yourself a fan brush. And we're gonna come in and we're gonna start to light up this area. So what do you want it to look like? What do you want your sky to be? Do you want it to be very bright? Do you want it to be very dark? Do you want to have a little moon off in the distance? Do you want to have maybe a sun underneath here? What do you want to have, right? So let's do this. What if we put a little sun back in there just by grabbing our Filbert brush and a little bit of the white paint? I told you all those undercolors are now going to light up when we touch them with this white. So whatever you want yours to look like, that's what you got to have it look like, right? So let's pick a side. Maybe we'll put it over here. And I'm just going to push flat, and then we're going to start to rotate the bristles and have them spread out, right? Just like this. Ooh, look at that sun. Makes the most perfect circle, right? If you can stay in the middle. There we go, and try to stay out everybody's way. Even took out all the color out of the center, right? Cover that guy back up. Bam, got the most gorgeous little sun, maybe way off in the distance. Maybe it's a moon, maybe it's a sun. Who knows what it is? Depends on what yours looks like, right? That's what I always say. Depends on what yours looks like. So I'm not just gonna have just a plain old little moon or sun or whatever it is back here, right? We wanna have a little action in there. So let's get that white right onto the corner of the brush. We're gonna go just like this, just on the one side, right? Especially if we're on black canvas. You don't need a whole lot of paint, which is why I spread it out down here. It's very thin, right? Makes it very thin on the brush. That means I'm not gonna have too much when I go to put it on there. And let's just decide, maybe our clouds come in like this, just like you're writing in cursive, right? Ooh, right underneath the moon, we just missed it. Just missed it. Don't touch the moon, right? Now come back in here, dump a little bit of color, but leave some space. You don't need to have a whole crazy amount, right? Nothing too crazy. Grab our 1-inch brush. We'll start from this side so everybody can see. We're just gonna start to make circles, just counterclockwise circles, pushing a little bit harder sometimes, a little bit less. A little bit harder to drag some of the paint, dragging it down. Ooh, look at these clouds start to appear. Don't touch the moon though, guys. Don't touch it. Don't touch that moon. And come back up here, push a little bit harder, maybe rotate. Turn our brush and we'll go back the other way, and then back this way. Always different, so it's not just the same movements and the same look. Maybe we'll come up here, and now we're out into where that blue was, and look at how those clouds just change color. Ah, the most gorgeous little things. And you don't even have to do anything. That's the best part about this whole technique, is we didn't even have to make it look like that. It did it on its own, right? Just out of a little bit of randomness. Don't touch that moon. Stay away from that moon, Josh. Maybe we'll take one more little bit of cloud, just by grabbing up a little bit of white paint again on the side. And who knows, maybe it kind of wrapped around over there. So it was like this, just connected back in with this guy, but we got to leave a little bit of room for it to grow back that way, right? Take the same brush. Haven't washed it, haven't done anything. Now we'll come over here, but I'll try to stay out of your way because we got to go this way, kind of pushing it back to the side, back to the corner. All right, don't want to drag it down in. I want to push it back that way. And especially on black canvas, it's very easy to have too much paint or too much color to where everything starts looking exactly the same, right? And that's not what you want to have. So let's grab a little bit more white over here. And then we're going to really push that cloud off in the distance back there by sticking this guy in the front. Right? Don't touch the moon, Josh. Don't do it. Dab off our old brush. Come back up here. And again, now we're feeding downward away from all that color into the darkness, right? Feed it down, feed it up, feed it over here, feed it over there. Just feed it. It's got to go somewhere. It can't just stay there. You got to feed it until you like the way that it looks. And don't touch the moon. How many times I got to say it? Okay, now we're going to grab that 2-inch brush, just like this. And we're going to go from the top to the bottom. Don't touch the moon. Just like that, side to side. Don't touch the moon. Bam. And then you got a whole wicked, gorgeous little sky full of clouds. Fantastic. Dab it off right there. Let's do one more little cool little thing. Right? Maybe you wanted a shooting star or a contrail or this or that. Right? When we take one out here, just so softly, a little bit of paint at the right angle, right? You can't make them all crazy angles. Got to be the right angle, and you want to have a clean, dry brush. So take the time to dry it off. Do a couple swipes to the side. One long swipe that way. Get this very cool little contrail, chemtrail, whatever you want to call it. Right? Bam, just like that. Flying through our sky. Fantastic. And switch to a smaller fan brush just to make it easier. Right? I'm going to have my waves. There's not going to be a lot of back ocean to it. There's going to be a lot of front wave, a big old crasher coming down, right? You can almost hear it already. Just splash. Ah, it's going to be cool. So we just need a little bit of white paint just on the tip, just on the edge of the brush, right? And then we're going to decide way off in the distance, maybe as high as you want to go. You could bring your, how high do you want your ocean to be? And I'll show you how we're going to do it, just like this. Straight across. Bam. Now our ocean horizon is way back there. And then everything in between is going to be our water, right? And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to leave little sections of darkness, lighten up areas, leave little sections of dark, little sections of light. Don't need to have it be too big or too crazy, right? Come back with our brush again. Always with the brush to flatten it out, right? Pushing back and forth, long strokes, leaving those dark areas though, leaving the light areas, right? You're not trying to blend it all to the same thing, and all of a sudden you got some very far away little bit of water back there. Wicked cool little thing, right? Now, we're gonna come back here, grab up more of that white paint, because again, we're just mainly painting with white. You can add the yellow in there if you wanted to have some cool color. I'm gonna maybe save that for our splash and stuff. So let's decide. So if we were gonna stay along this edge back here, well, it looks to me like it would have come up like that, gone down, maybe come up over here, gone down, back off to the side, right? Take this guy and just feed him back to the edge. Back, 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 and then just pull away, right? We're not gonna go all the way to this point because that would be silly. We wouldn't be able to see everything. So we'll go on the other side of the point, just pull it back just slightly, right? No need to have a whole lot of detail back there. Nothing too crazy. Take your 1-inch brush, same angles, just making it soft, right? Don't try to smush our little peak. You gotta try to keep that up top. There we go. Make it soft. That's all you need. A little bit of soft detail back there, right? You can already see the water coming in. Okay, we're gonna take our brush and we're gonna grab up our last little bit of white right here. Let's just decide where our big crasher is gonna come down. It's rolling in and it's going right about here. So let's say it came up from over here, and we're gonna go like this and just start to rotate along the back of the wave. Keep in mind, this is the back side. Right, so we're going to come up a little bit higher, and now we're going to start to very lightly pull over. But you have to say, you have to go, just like that, right? Make the brush sound it out for you. That's what I do. I just make my voice sound like the brush. And then if we change angles, we can come up over here, like maybe we hit up onto a rock or something. The wave was really starting to change. But keep that back line straight, right? This top line, just like when we work on our mountain, the top line is all you're really worried about. So when we're working on our wave, same thing. What's along the top edge? It can't really be messy, right? And let's just say we're going to cut all that out. So it's going to flow down, and we're letting it get darker and darker and darker. And then our angle changes and the length of our strokes change as well, right? And that way it's not kind of all rolling onto itself all at the same time. Now, let's continue on our way back here and just following it back off to the edge, right? Which pushes all that other water back. And now right from here, you have to pull it back, but you don't want these two light colors to touch, right? So we're sliding it back and then we're leaving that little open space of darkness right in between, right underneath. And that way it looks like a lip of that second bit of wave that's coming. It's a little bit taller and it's coming up to crash over next, right? Don't want to make them all the same, but just pull it back until you get that little bit of shadowing, just like that. That is going to be a cool looking wave. Right. Remember, your angles of your water have to make sense. They're not rotating over like a half circle. They're most of the time is coming down to this bottom corner of your canvas. So wherever you're at, you're pretending that your water is crashing down here off screen somewhere, right? All right, let's put in the eye of our wave. I told you we were gonna have a red eye and a blue face, and it just so happened to play out like that, didn't it? Knock the color off of our 1-inch brush like that, and come in here very lightly. And if it doesn't move when you're pushing very lightly, then push harder, right? It's not about being nice with it all the time. Sometimes you gotta be rough, right? Don't wanna go too far out into the blue and then back into your red though. It's gonna dim all of that beautiful red that's in there. So why don't we go back, we'll get a little bit more paint on the brush, a little bit lighter, so a little bit more white, right? We're only really using the white to brighten up all those undercolors. Oh, there we go. A little bit more paint. Ah, that's what it was. Just up like that. Fantastic. You don't want to let it get too bright down here where our water's crashing, right? Remember, our water, no matter where your brightness is, our water is going to end up down here by the time that it's done rolling. And you have to plan for that as you're painting it. You can't rotate over too quickly. It's your water. I've done it before. And I won't even show you the picture of that wave. It was awful. So, I've done it. I've been there. Trust the process, right? And imagine that our water is going to crash down here. So all of our stuff needs to be back underneath there. I'll show you by the time we get there. I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll show you. All right, now we're going to need to mix up take our palette knife. It's about the only time we need a palette knife is to mix these three colors up. Our blue, black, and crimson. Might as well clean up the palette while we're doing it, right? Mix all those up into this real deep, dark, purpley color. The more black and blue you have, the darker it's going to be. The more crimson you have in there, the more purpley it's going to be. Okay, we just need it to be a little dark. Don't need a whole lot. We're going to grab that little fan brush. Actually, I probably need to make more than that. I never make enough. I don't know why. I just never make enough. A little bit of blue, a little bit of black, a little bit of crimson. And now I've probably made too much. It's like pancake mix. You go to make your family pancakes, and by the time you get done, you've served 48 pancakes because you put a little bit of water in, then a little bit of mix. And then it was too much mix. A little bit more water, a little bit mix. A little more water, mix, and now you've got 48 pancakes you have to serve. So, the bowl keeps getting bigger, right? Or does that just happen to me? Has that happened to you guys? I don't know. All right, we're going to come in with the corner of this brush. Same like we did the corner of the other brush, just with white, right? This is with our dark color. It looks black, but it's not. It's a deep, dark, purpley color, right? Just on the corner. That's all you really need. Don't want to have it all over the brush, otherwise it can get crazy, right? We're just going to do the top section here. Now, you guys have heard me talk about the S-shaped curve of our wave, right? If you can imagine, why do I decide to do this right at this moment? Okay, watch this. Okay, we're talking about, I put some acrylic black on here earlier. We're talking about, think about an S, okay, an S shape, but really stretched out. And that's the shape of our wave, right? It's this S-shaped curve. So when you hear me talk about that, I don't know why I just threw my pen over here. Oh, God. When you hear me talk about the S-shaped curve, it's what this is doing. This looks like an S. So we're coming up, we have the dark side of our paint. We're gonna come up here. We're gonna go up into our shadows to maintain that S-shaped curve, right? So we're following along. Now this line, not our top line, not our wavy bit of top line, but this line from our thing here into our shadows needs to sort of resemble a really stretched out S. And that's what I mean when we talk about the S-shaped curve. Now, I'm gonna need to get a little bit more paint on this brush because we're getting into a section that is a little bit bigger. And when we get into our bigger section, we need the whole bit of brush. So look, taking it like this, and we're slapping up at the canvas, following along that S-shaped curve, getting into that white bit, right? And now we have this S. I hope you guys can see what I'm talking about. I really do. Right, over here, maybe we had a little bit of that foam. Dang, maybe it's splashed up because we're hit on top of a rock or something over down here, right? I can just hear it. Babe, can you please bring me a glass of water? If you're not busy. I'm really finding it hard to swallow. Let's see. Perfect. Now we've got our S-shaped curve right here. Got our soft bit of water, got our crashing water over here. Now we need to highlight all that bit of spray, right? And like I told you before, this bit of water, there's some distance in between this wall of water and the backside of our crasher, right? There's got to be distance in there. If you're pulling down and rotating too soon, you're going to end up crashing on top of your own wave, and it's not going to look right. All right, let's get a little bit more of that shadow. A little bit more of that shadowy goodness down in there. All right, we're going to wash off our shadowy brush. So in order to highlight, we need to use a little bit of Bob Ross liquid white, which looks like this once you put it in our little tub. Hang on. I'll show you. Here we go. So Bob Ross liquid white, it's a very runny, very wet, very watery, which works perfect for Seascapes, type of oil paint. And it's most of the time our base layer. Oh, come on now, Josh. I need to get, well, I did get a new jug. So this one is about to be empty here soon. Now, what you need to do is grab, I usually take my palette knife, mix it up a little bit, or you can shake up the jar, whatever you want to do. I tap it into my other little petri dish, I call it, because there's got to be something growing in here by now. There really must be, right? I put it in my little petri dish, and that way I've got a nice little section where I can have my super watery, really wet paint right on hand, right? I'm going to wipe this knife off. I'm going to wipe that old knife off. Now, we're going to put our liquid white away, and we're going to get back to what we were doing. And we're going to do it right now. Okay, let's grab our little brush. Actually, you know, we're going to switch to a bigger brush. Let's switch to a bigger brush. Switch to a big brand new one. Look at this. This is what the Cat Doctors look like before they get used. This one's a size 12. You don't have to use a size 12. Totally up to you what you want to use. But I like a bigger brush for doing stuff like this. And a lot of times, a bigger brush is harmful, but some of the times it's helpful. There we go. We're really going to come up a little bit higher there with our little splashy bits. Very cool. Just getting a little bit of that paint just thick onto the canvas. Just like when we do our trees or our bushes. You want it on there nice and thick, and that way your highlights can grab onto something. If there's nothing there to grab onto, then they start getting kind of run together, right? Okay, now we're going to grab that liquid white on the end of the old, well, not old, the brand new brush. And let's go through our white. Just like this. Getting it onto both sides. Through the titanium white, though, because you have to have a little bit of that thick oil paint and a little bit of the liquid white in order to make it work. Now we're going to come up and we're just going to start tapping. Right? See how we tap it? And if we're not covering every little section, then all of a sudden it starts to look like water. We tap little things, little things. A little bit of pressure. Depends on what you want yours to look like, right? Starts to rotate over. What does yours look like? Let's go back and get some more paint. Get a little bit more of our liquid white, a little bit more of our titanium white. And drag them through because the ratio has to be right. And it's just something that you got to feel when you do it a couple times, right? And come back in, give it a few more little details. Bam, 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 bam. Every time we touch the canvas, it's picking up a little bit of that dark, shadowy paint that's underneath, right? And that's changing it. You can see right here. It's turning the color of the brush. All right, so maybe we come over here and we start whacking at this side. Tapping at it, smacking at it, doing all sorts of stuff. Because over here, you can hide all this little bit of splashy bit, right? Get rid of all that nonsense. Come back over here. A little bit more liquid white, a little bit more titanium white. Really get it on there. Come back for our final little touches. Get all those little textures, little differences. It's fantastic, right? Bang, 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 bang. You can come up as high as you want in your shadows. It really doesn't matter. For your spray anyway, take your 1-inch brush, so lightly though, So, so lightly. Sometimes not even touching certain areas, right? So soft, because that liquid white, oh my goodness, that liquid white really makes it want to grow. Really makes it want to grow fast. So little, tiniest little bit of pressure, tiniest little anything really. Right? Have all that water come down and crash. Oh my. It's crazy. Right? Now we'll take a little bit of our dark color. Grab up this old dark color over here. We might as well just put our rock in now. And put a big old jaggedy rock in, just like that. Pop it in there, and then cover it all with that dark paint, just till we get down just about to there. Very cool. This big old crashing rock onto this thing. This jaggedy old nasty rock. All right, we're gonna wipe off the old brush, clean it, hit it, beat the devil out of it, and then we're gonna come back in. Now I'm gonna show you, right? Our water has to land out here, which means our foam cannot start out here. It needs to start a little bit further in, and you need to leave an area of darkness in there as well, okay? You don't want our color from here to touch our color up here either. You gotta have that separation. So I'm gonna go through the white paint, not the white and the liquid white, just the titanium white, the thick white. I don't want any liquid white on the brush right now. Right, just like that, both sides. Then we have just the one corner is done. Right, now I'm gonna use that one corner facing towards the wave, and we're gonna decide maybe our water is down here. We're gonna start to slide back. Pretty straight, right? I'm not coming in and turning straight up because you don't need to do that yet. You don't have to do that yet. Right, come over there. The more we go to the side, the more angled up you start. Let's go, right? As you're going out here, you're more off to a straighter angle. And when you're coming into your wave, where it's rotating, that's when you're starting to do your curve, right? So inside here, you're really gonna wanna start to curve up. Just like that. Oh yes, don't let those colors touch though. Right, and as we go out to the side, like I said, they get a little longer and they get a little bit more horizontal off to the side as the water is coming in. Unless you're doing two double crashers. And that's up to you, right? And then you can always fill in stuff over here if you don't like it. But the main thing is taking our water, taking our wave, and starting to rotate that thing up at the right angle, right? Which takes a little bit of practice. It does. It really takes a little bit of practice, and you can see why we leave that dark area in there. That creates that depth and distance that we're looking for, right? That the water is now crashing so far over that we can't even see it, right? And then we'll bring this guy out just until our line is sort of straight, sort of. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, of course, but you don't want it all kinds of crazy and wavy either. And just like that, you got a really cool little wave. I mean, it's nothing. It's just about piecing them together. All right, we're gonna take our 2-inch brush. This gets a little bigger. 2 inches is big, ladies, when we're painting anyway. I'm just gonna go across this thing nice and softly. Just smooths it out, softens it down. So simply and easily done, right? Right underneath our little bit of wave, keeping that darkness though. Don't let those little colors touch. That's not what you want. All right, now let's decide on our smaller brush. Now let's go in here with our white. I was gonna use the yellow for this painting, but I guess I'm not going to. It really wouldn't fit anywhere. So just getting a little bit of white on the fan brush, and I'm gonna go underneath this line. And we're gonna keep a little bit of darkness underneath that next little bit of bright, right? And that is the key. That is key to having a proper looking, you know, thick bit of ocean foamy wave, right? And take that 2-inch brush again, just like that. And come in here and just lightly push down. If it doesn't blend easily, then push harder. Right? If I say lightly and it takes you more times by pushing harder, then push harder. Just like that. Everyone's gonna have a different feel of what's hard and what's soft, right? And then we're gonna come over here and slide this back up into that, but don't get rid of all that dark line. Look at that. You have this little bit of foam sat up on top of your wet sand. My goodness, I can't make it any easier than that, guys. Fantastic. Try not to cover all the way to the corner, right? I like leaving a little dark area to sign in anyway, but that looks really neat. That's a really cool looking wave right there. Now, why don't we use some of the new fan brushes we got from Frankie? We can use this one, or actually I've already got one out. Bam, we'll use this one. A little script liner that Frankie got us off our Amazon wish list. So thank you, Frankie, for that. And, you know, I'm going to be able to do such cool little things with it. We're going to go through that liquid white and the titanium white. Same thing, twisting the brush, rotating it, turning it. And that way you get this nice little sliver, right? And then up here, we need to connect where these guys, right? And you can't go right from your front one. You can't start up here and connect to your front piece. So maybe the third or fourth guy over has to then connect up here by grabbing. You see what I mean? You have to make that little, there's a little disconnect there, but you have to make that rotation and those curves line up. And the more and more you do it, the easier it becomes, right? I'm gonna come in here very lightly. Just so light, just because I don't want them to go away, right? That guy especially. Now, when it comes into your light area, the eye of your wave, it's really cool sometimes if you have a little bit of darkness across as a shadowy, foamy bit. So we're going to take our low odor mineral spirits. I'm going to go into the dark color, just like that. That same dark, shadowy color that we made, right? And again, we're going to come back in here, grab into our shadows, and then just grab a little bit. See if, there we go. See if they'll come down. And they don't all have to be perfectly straight. That's the cool thing about them. It's all this foam that's like kind of jumbled up and all crazy. So don't worry about it being the most straightest thing you've ever seen. Amazing. Amazing. You don't call me Poseidon, king of the waves, for nothing. There we go. All about that rotation. Right? And you have those little bits of vein in your eye. Everyone's got them. Everyone's got them. All right, really want a nice dry brush. So lightly, I'm going to touch these guys. There we go. Because I don't want to dull that eye color. Don't want to spread the paint around, but I want it to be a little bit softer. Very neat. Now we're going to grab a little bit of that liquid white and our titanium white mixture again. Because you want it to come off your knife easy and still look kind of thick. Scrape that out, go along the top of the thing. Don't try to cover up that dark line, right? That's our friend. Stay right above that darkness. Right in here. Bang. Now you got your own little floating little bit of water. It's just that easy, guys. It's literally that easy. Take it, scrape that back up into your wave. Bang, just like that. All you got to do is make it look messy. The ocean is a messy, messy thing. Right? All about the angles, making sure your angles are correct, and having that little bit of foamy mess in there. Right? As it starts to be sucked up in the wave and spun and rotated over, it's amazing. All right, now we're going to grab another little fan brush, go back into our titanium white and our liquid white mixture. Probably need a little bit more. Don't want a whole lot, right? And we need to make our second little bit of water back here. So a little bit of line, leaving space, right? Because it's going to have to feed its way back. And you don't want our two white areas to touch. You got to have this little bit of sandy little sheen in there, right? Very cool. Very cool. Very cool, guys. Take that guy, just swipe him back. Don't try to touch that liquid white. It'll really spread quick. That's not what you want to do. Gonna leave that guy out there. Now we're into where our rock is over here. Very cool. Okay. Got our water done. If you ever lose or your disconnect of that dark color, you can always go back in with that same purpley mix and just add a little bit. Maybe there was a little section where it kind of cut through or the foam got broken up. It's not a perfect thing, right? And you can take that little bit of darkness and just feed it back underneath your white line to give it that little bit of extra raised lift, right? Everybody needs a lift every now and then. You gotta have some, everybody has it. As your friend come over, give you a hug, and you've had a sad day, right? You need that little bit of lift. And it's okay, everyone needs it. Bang. So give your wave a little lift, make them feel happy. A happy little wave. I don't think Bob ever called it a happy little wave, but we'll call mine happy little waves because they are happy. All right, now we're gonna mix up. Maybe we'll use the yellow for over here. Who knows? Let's take up a little bit of our black and our crimson. Again, we're gonna mix that up over here, but I didn't take a lot of black. Right? It's mostly crimson. We'll sneak a little bit of white into it just to show you. It's kind of this reddish, purplyish hue. Take a little bit of blue. We're gonna darken that purpley bit up. And the blue is so powerful. You gotta be careful. A little bit of red, a little bit of crimson to bring it back. There we go. Fantastic. Now I'm gonna scrape in just a little bit of the red and not overdo it. There we go. Boom. We're gonna scrape from here, cut right across all those cool colors. And then from out here, it's just a very soft touch, right? I'm just letting the paint touch the canvas. I'm not pushing against it, floating over the top of it, allowing the paint to come touch down. And then whatever comes off, comes off. I'm not trying to force it in there. It doesn't need to stick. It's not a permanent thing. You know what I mean? You just lay it on. Whatever comes off, and it's fantastic. And yours will be different. You know what I mean? It'll look a little bit different than mine will, and that's totally fine. Completely 100% fine for it to look just a touch different than mine. We're not going to grab the same amount of paint. Maybe there was a little bit of water back here, so I want to add a little bit more of that sheen, a little bit of sheen back here, right? Again, by pulling down. Not trying to touch our water line though, Josh. Don't do that. Pull it back, feed it back into the wave. Again, not trying to touch our thick water line. That would be bad. Look at all that. Ooh, man, it's fantastic. Fantastic. You can even take your fan brush just into the liquid white, just so it's on the end. And we're literally gonna tap in little dots like that, right, into our little bit of spray. So have a fair amount, not a huge glob, but a fair amount. And we're just gonna come and tap in little bits that might have been lit up. Not everywhere. You don't need a whole lot of everything, but there's always some little bit of water that's flying out at a different rate of speed. And it's just a lot of times why I like to add a couple little dots, right? Like it's just coming down. Oh, I can just hear it in my brain. I can hear it in my brain. A couple more little things, a little splashy here, a little detail over here. A little this, a little that. The more and more you go down, the more and more is going to happen, right? Very cool. Very cool. I like this one. I like it a lot. Again, just don't overdo it. You can, you know, it's very easy to overdo, so don't overdo it. You can always take this guy and just add a couple little bits, right? Like you're coming up along that line, doing the same thing. And then you can start to piece your wave together. Have that water roll down, right? If you don't like how your line looks, you can start to have your water roll down and start lining up with this foam down here. All depends. It's never all gonna fall at the same time, right? It's gonna be rotating and all sorts of stuff. Excellent, love this one. All right, well guys, of course, as you can see down here, during the show, this painting is available to purchase, but also we like to hear your name. So come up with your name of what you'd like to name this painting and write it in the comments of whatever platform you're watching on right now. Write it in the comments while we finish this guy off, and then we'll be ready to go. Now we're gonna take our liquid white and our titanium white again, because I never like it to just be just one pure liquid white. I'm gonna run that through a little tiny bit on our brush, and we're gonna throw the old family in there. And if you're like, who is the family? What are you talking about? In my paintings, I sign them with myself, right here, my gorgeous wife right there, and our gorgeous daughter right there. It's these three little birds that go flying through all of Paint with Josh's paintings. It's basically the only way we get to travel, and I'm dead serious. We never go anywhere together, except for when we're flying in our paintings, right? So now I need to fix that line over there as well, so don't go anywhere. We're gonna throw the old J. Hancock down here, just like that. Very cool. Now, for that line up there, I'm gonna switch to a longer liner brush. We're gonna get that liquid white back out, right? I'm just gonna lay my brush down long in it, long ways flat, right? And then come up here and just start to mix it in. And now I'm gonna start to rotate the knife. Not the knife. Rotate the brush, spin it as you're going along, and that'll get all the paint off of it, right? We lay it down flat, just like that. Ooh, get that big chunk off of there, Joshy. All right, now we're gonna come back up in here again, touch and drag, and now start to spin it, allowing all of the paint to come off, right? And it'll be wet and ridgy and ripply. It's supposed to be. It's water. It's not supposed to be a straight line thing, right? So have little ripples in it. Bang, just like that. Very cool. Like it's about to come and fall over. Again, if you don't like it, watch how bright this liquid white makes everything. As our wave is starting to crash in over here, I remember. Right? Your angles have to be good if you're going to pull down from the top, though. Your angles have to be spot on, because wherever you drag your brush is what it's going to look like. Imagine that. And come back in here just so softly, because I don't want to move. I just want it to dry quicker. There we go. A little softer. Bam. Perfect. I'm going to wash off the old brush over here, put our liquid white down. And then you guys come up with the names for the painting. What would you name this painting? Crimson Tide, something or other, this, that. What would you name it? Because I've done this is the 651st painting that we've done. And I am out of names. So can you name it for me? There we go. Excellent. A little bit of spray, maybe off the back. Little things. Very cool. Very cool. You know how when the wave rotates over and it spits the water at us from the front? Super neat. Super neat. Perfect. I love that little rotation right there. All right. Well, what are your names, guys? Come up with the names. Put them in the comments. I'm about to go through the comments right now and read them. And if you're lucky, maybe I'll choose the one that you had suggested. And if I'm lucky, I can make all these little water droplets that I don't like go away just by mixing them back into that bit of ocean back there. Now it even looks like a little piece of the moonlight. That looks kind of cool, actually. Let me take a little of our white and we'll put it back in here. Right? Just a little bit, and then we're going to very lightly stretch it. I'm not trying to make it go away. We want it to be there. There we go. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's the money shot. Okay, now we're going to grab more liquid white onto our brush. We're going to come back in here and maybe on this guy, just add a few little details. Come off his side over here, rotating the brush, spinning it. Don't allow our two white areas to touch. They don't need to touch. They really don't. That's a cool painting right there, guys. Well, guys, I can't wait to see your version of this painting. Make sure you send them into facebook.com/paintwithjosh. And until we see you guys again next time, take care, have the rest of a good day, and bow! See ya later. Hi, everyone. Hi. Hi, welcome back. I can't even do it softly. I can't go, hi, welcome back to Paint with Josh. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Hi, welcome back to Paint with Josh. You look fantastic. What have you done with your hair? Oh my God, it's amazing. Hi, guys. Welcome back to Paint. Hey, guys. Oh, guys. All right, let's do it. Hi, guys. Welcome back to Paint with Josh. Today we did a gorgeous 16 by 20 inch limited palette ocean painting. Who calls it an ocean painting? Come on, Josh, get it together. You're a professional. Hi guys, welcome back to Paint with Josh. Today we did a gorgeous 16 by 20 inch seascape with this monster crashing wave and a gorgeous full moon off in the background. And how many times can we say gorgeous in one thing? Did I just get paint on my pants? Maybe. Got paint on my pants. All right, here we go. Hi, welcome back to Paint with Josh. Today we, my goodness, I just can't get it together today. One more time. Hi, welcome back to, hey guys, we're on the radio over here. Okay, no more messing about, Josh. Take, here we go. Hi, welcome back to Paint with Josh. You look, no, rushed it. I rushed it. Here we go. Hi, welcome back to Paint with Josh. You look fantastic. What have you done with your hair? Oh my God, it's amazing. Crimsony, blue water, crashing wave, Why? Can you not see that it's crimson or that it's blue? Why do I have to tell you that it's crimson and blue when you have eyes?